Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me. I am reading today on a lot of things because, oh my gosh, the news just doesn't stop, does it? It's incredible. I've been keeping notes on what I wanted to read on, but my gosh. All right, so I'm going to start with a positive topic. I'll do one on Obrador because he got a really great reading. I really did a reading on him initially when he first was elected president in Mexico. And I was so glad. I was so thrilled because the reading looked really positive. Like he was a sincere guy and he was going to fight corruption. And it looked very hopeful for the Mexican people. And, you know, it's not too often I get a reading that, you know, on a leader, because people are mixes of good and bad, you know, but this guy, he had a good reading. And sure enough, I looked at the recent polls for him, and his popularity is skyrocketing because he is taking action to decrease corruption. So people are pretty happy about that. Trying to discourage or to get rid of officials who are corrupt, bringing down salaries, trying to disincentivize becoming corrupt. I don't know. He's doing a number of things, actually. So I wanted to see how he is doing right now and what his future is looking like. Okay, so for Obrador. Okay. Well, okay, and my deck is reversed. Well, no, it's a mixed deck, so that's a reversal. Where he's at right now, so he's getting rid of the inequality. This is income inequality. You know, because look at this guy. This is somebody with income inequality who is giving just a pittance, right, to the beggars, right? It's the Six of Coins, trying to, you know, they just get a pittance. But it's reversed. So it's really about, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not just going to give a little here and give a little there. And also this card has sometimes been sort of like the paying people off kind of thing, you know. Sometimes it can suggest corruption. Giving a bribe, giving some money, you know, somebody extremely wealthy. So he is trying to reverse that. That's what he's working on. So he must really be working. Oh, okay. So that means he's really working on stopping bribery. Okay. And his outward perspective, people look at him as somebody who is definitely hanging on to a security. He is, you know, he's hanging in there. They're actually surprised. I feel a sense of surprise that he's been able to do these things and hasn't come to harm. His internal perspective. Okay, so his internal characteristic is he is not feeling like he's learning hard lessons and, you know, just, you know, not much to do for him, but learn from him at this point. And no, he's actually then feeling like he's getting a lot done. He's feeling very, very much like he is staying in place, like he is doing just fine. So even if people worry about him, and maybe he worries about himself a little bit, he's doing fine. I'm glad. That's really good. Okay, so his goal. And so we have the Queen of Swords reversed. So I'm not sure about that. The Queen of Swords reversed. The Queen of Swords a lot of times is, well, it's a lot of times journalism. It's a lot of times people speaking out vocally about injustices. We're getting a lot of Queen of Swords upright in our country right now. I see that one upright all the time, being vocal, asking for change. His goal, I believe, then, is to satisfy some of these calls for change, decrease protest, decrease outrage. Okay, well, that makes sense. His motivation, King of Cups. So that's sort of the stable, compassionate, emotionally astute kind of king. So riding it out. He knows that there's a lot of waves and turbulence. He's riding it out. I feel like he's riding out. He's staying in the turbulence. See, this makes a lot of sense. This would be moving away from the turbulence. Nope, nope, nope. he is staying in the turbulence, and he isn't feeling like the lessons are hard. He knew that stuff already. He's feeling like, hey, we're making progress. We're not having losses. So this makes sense. He wants to ride out the turbulence, and he wants to maintain encouragement. He does want to keep a positive emotional tone then also. All right, what's at stake is King of Wands. His ability to complete his fiery, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I think I'll clarify that one. So he would rather be King of Cups right now. He feels like he needs to be King of Cups. There's a lot to ride out. It has been a tumultuous time. It is a tumultuous time. I see. He'd like to get to be the King of Rods and be very purpose-driven and not have to worry about bringing the nation through this turbulent time of trying to address a lot of this corruption. But he assumes the presidency at a time when his nation, many people in his nation have really suffered from the drug cartels and corruption and things like that. So he'd love to get to that place where he can just, okay, you know, we're in calmer waters and we can move ahead with lots of plans. So that's what's at stake. He wants to get there. You know, it's going to take a while to get there. He wants to keep hope alive for his people. All right, we have the Justice card for his need. He really is truly wanting justice. He's wanting things to be fair. He's wanting a justice system that is working and not corrupt, of course. The source of that need. We have the Hanged Man. Looking at things from a new perspective. That's a spiritual card. Delay. Gosh, I almost feel his energy like he will never show his people this ever in a million years. And he feels very good about things. You know, we're moving in the right direction. He gets impatient. He feels he wishes he could accomplish more. He hates the delay. He really does. It bothers him a lot. He is sort of, I mean, there's this passion. There's a sort of, he's almost chomping at the bit, but you know what? He's not going to show the people that. To the people, he's calm. He's confident. We're going to do this. He's encouraging. He wants to keep their hope up. But really, internally, I just think he's getting a greater and greater appreciation for the injustices that have been. This is getting a new perspective and for how long it may take. And so that is, he'd love to work on increasing the financial fortunes of the people, their well-being, their security. He'd like to work on that right away. There's a lot that has to be done now. Okay, I think I'm getting this. All right, I mean, I'm seeing a picture that's coming together, which is always so wonderful. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that, chomping at the bit that he can't get more done. I mean, the people are really pleased with him, but for him, I mean, he had a goal in his first few months that was maybe a little too optimistic, but you know what? He hasn't lost any steam. He's okay. You know, he just wants to go. All right. The effect that this need for justice and the fact that there still is injustice then in his nation has upon his desire to calm people down. You know, he wants to address their concerns. Oops, sorry. I am so sorry. He wants to address their concerns and he wants to address the voters' concerns, the reasons they voted for him. He wants to get going on that. So they're satisfied. But it's hard. You know that, to me, the Ace of Cups upside down, there's no other way to interpret that one to me, which is emotional time and sadness. I mean, there's crying, there's grief. There's the water, right? I just feel like he really feels it too. He feels the effect of the injustices on his people, and it saddens him. And that can't be fixed easily. That's what the issue is. There's grieving. There's almost the fact that he is validating for them that, yes, these are really big problems. I'm fighting him. We're going to get there. He's encouraging. I feel like he's a real cheerleader. I don't know. I haven't heard his speeches, but I feel like he's a real, he's inspiring. But the fact of the matter is there is a lot of inventory to be taken of the sadnesses that the injustices and the corruption have caused, and the drug cartels have caused the people. So it takes a while. It takes a while. It's very complicated. And, I feel like he has the maturity. He knows that. His desire for them to have justice is so burning hot. It really is. It really is. And he is an active, outspoken, extroverted, emotionally attuned. He prefers action, 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 action. So this, the sad news, that comes across his desk all the time, that's not where he likes to be, So that's been kind of, I almost feel like this is really stretching him and growing him. And he is having to meditate and reflect more. And he is having to accept that the emotional healing is part of this. It's not going to be as quickly as he would have liked it to be. It's not as, it's very complex. The issues are extremely complex. And he can understand that. He's emotionally in tune, but I just think he's getting a real understanding of just how complicated it really is. And, that's not, he prefers to be a man of action. He prefers to be a man of action, I think. Yeah, divine protection and strength. He's got divine protection and strength around him as he goes about getting rid of bribing officials. Good. Apparently that must be... Okay, I'm going to do a past and future for Obrador. Okay. I think, let's see future. Okay, past, right, that whole, one big happy family, the coalitions, the partnerships between drug cartels and some officials, and the bribery, and people in politics, all those partnerships were one big happy family. Well, that's on its head. He really, I feel, he wasn't supposed to get elected. He wasn't supposed to get elected, yet he did. Something about that just, when I did his reading, it became, I think this was before he got elected, it became obvious he would get elected. But somehow he wasn't even supposed to be up for the running. Maybe people who live in Mexico know more about this, but it's like he wasn't even supposed to be up for the running. This was, he had seemingly sailed through and wound through all kinds of blocks that were put in his way to prevent him on the ballot. And I think this is a spiritual intervention, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and, I'm singing his praises, but I don't want to give people the impression that he's perfect, because he's not. He's getting his experience, He's heading into something that, like I said, layers and layers of complexity. And he's more of a man of action. He's incredibly bright. He is, I think, spiritually centered. He must be. I bet, yeah, I even hear him talking about it. Yes, he is. But just all that he has to learn, because he didn't operate within the old boys club, So there's so much he has to learn. So he may make some mistakes simply because there's so much he has to learn. He's not one to sit around and worry about that, though. Okay, his future. We have the Fool reversed. So I really think this is about him becoming wise. You know, it isn't his new beginning time because that already has been, right? So he doesn't need a new beginning. He's trucking right along. He's doing fine. This is the Fool reverse. I think that means, you know, he becomes wise to a lot of what has been going on and the complexity of that. And that's, you know, that's good. But what I was just talking about is he could make some mistakes just because he hasn't been in that old boys network. So he has things yet to learn. He has quite a lot yet to learn. But he's going to learn it quickly. I feel like with 2 years in, he's got it. You know, he's got it. He gets it. He understands the complexity of it better than the old boys did. You know what I mean? So let's look at the old boys. Okay, yeah, the watching and waiting for their ship to come in. You know, this was a, so the politicians, a lot of times, they had been about their fortunes, you know, their payoff. Right. And look at this. We have the emperor underneath, and he is the father of the tarot. He is all about the law, and he is all about enforcing the law for the good of the larger society. He's all about bringing order. And he's pretty active, and he doesn't mind assuming control. His motivations are good, you know, and so that is underneath it all. Very important. That card's been coming up for us a lot more in the U.S. too. And we have the Knight of Cups. Oh, he's still okay. People gotta love him. You know, people will forgive him if he makes a couple mistakes. I see people continuing to love him. He looks like their suitor, their knight in shining armor. So it is good. Let me look at this. Justice. He needs justice. Okay, so we have the Three of Coins, which could be, you know, it'd be read two ways. It could be he's working with a couple of trusted others to build enhanced security and wealth for the people. Or this could be he's wanting justice because there's been too many dark backroom deals, you know, that kind of thing. All right. Yeah, the source of it. Yeah, he's getting more knowledgeable about more secrets with the moon there. And his intuition, his emotion, he's kind of connected. He is kind of connected. So he feels this. I think this looks marvelous. I think this looks good. Yeah, I just think it looks good. Let me ask, he feels impatient to get to the nuts and bolts of things. And let's improve the lives of the people. He feels impatient for that. But right now, it's like he's in this place where he's realizing, oh my gosh, this is a bigger, more complicated mess than I even thought. And it grieves him. And he knows he has to do things in a certain way. And I think he even has the insight to know he is still learning. And who he can trust and who he can't, and what can be changed and what can't. But he's an action-oriented person, so he would be one. He's not going to be passive. He's not going to sit there and think about it. He would rather go forward and try something and make an error and learn from it and say, okay, now what do we do? Although he's bright. He would calculate out worst-case scenarios before that. You know, well, how bad would an error in this decision be? You know what I mean? Although he does have some surprises. He can't calculate it all out. But no, he takes calculated risks, but he would be more one to just push forward. He feels that's his personality. That's just his personality. Okay, I think it's good. Show me the Mexican people, the citizens of Mexico. Show me them. How are they doing now? How are they doing in the future? Okay, Spirit. Guardian angels, we're asking for their input too. Okay, we have the Sun. So there is some joy. There is some joy about this. About the changes they see being made. Oh, their heartbreak that they've had over and over and over, injustice after injustice after injustice, it is reversed. That's wonderful. Good. There is a lot of wonderful, positive energy going. Boy, and he will keep that going. He will. Clarity, good judgment. They're feeling like Judgment Day has come for the corrupt. Yes, they are. And they're welcoming it. Okay, so in the future, these cards are really clear and really positive. Work, 8 of Coins. I think that means that unemployment goes down. I mean, they're still working hard. And it's still a situation where, you know, they're working hard for what they get and they may not get a lot. You know, it's still like that. But I think this means unemployment goes down. There's more work available. We have the Magician reversed. So, yeah, that fits with what I was seeing with his reading. And this is in the coming months. So they're not feeling quite like they have everything they need to manifest what they want yet. Right. See, the Magician, he has, he unpacks the Fool's bag on his table and he shows the Fool, look, you have everything you need. You have enough security, money. You have enough emotional fortitude and hope. You have enough fire and energy. You have enough wisdom, smarts. Okay, so this reversed is saying, okay, they're working hard. They're still, you know, trying to work on most people having enough to manifest the changes they want to manifest. That makes sense. It doesn't all happen in one day, right? And we have the Queen of Wands. Ooh, but we do have some women feeling, wow. I think this is the spirit of, you know, the parents. I think the spirit of the parents in Mexico who have managed to make do, you know? And certainly there are plenty of folks in Mexico who are not financially strapped. I don't want to, you know, give the impression. I know in the larger cities and in a lot of areas there are portions of the population that do have enough. They have plenty enough, you know. But a lot of the people have just kind of had to put it all together with help from each other and make it work. But they're feeling, so they have been very resourceful. So they're feeling like, hey, you know, I may not have everything I need to accomplish what I want for my family, but whew, we're going, you know, we're going forward. So that is, I love to see that card. That's an energetic, hopeful, positive. There's a lot of hard work here, a lot of fire. Okay, they feel like they're going to get there even if they're not there yet. And we have the Hope card reversed in the future. So what is that all about? Oh, they get a little fatigued. Okay, you know, I feel like he makes a couple of mistakes because he is learning. And some things seem to bog down. Some changes he's trying to implement seem to bog down or get a setback. And it does damage people's hopefulness and his own. Because I feel him really hard trying to keep the encouragement going, he wishes he could have gotten going on some of his economic goals more quickly. So I do see him having understandable mistakes, understandable setbacks or blocks, because he's understanding the complexity of the situation, and it's not easy. And I do think maybe some very powerful people who are not interested in Obrador's plans, you know, who are not cooperative with him or fighting against him, maybe have a victory or two. And not right away, but in the months following that damages the hopefulness, okay? But that is still the Hope card. Yeah, there's some more dissatisfaction. Yeah, so he does in fact encounter some dissatisfaction from the public then. Probably not right away, but, you know, inevitably. All right, because the 7 of Coins is a lot of times, okay, we got something here, but it's not enough. I thought we'd have more kind of thing. But we have the 5 of Cups reversed, which I like to see reversed. The 5 of Cups is a lot of times about an emotional loss. And we did see that Ace of Cups reversed, right? So this is sort of grieving the losses. I feel like what happens is people are starting to feel safer and way hopeful in the coming few months. And then there's a couple setbacks, or Obrador gets some bad press, made some mistakes, something. And by then people are kind of, in their minds, they've turned the corner. They're like, our nation is turning a corner here. They aren't thinking about that three of swords reversed. You know, they're not thinking about that so much anymore. They're feeling like that really is in our past. Those repeated heartaches, seeing the corruption, that really is in our past. So because they're in this better place, you know, when when Obrador does something that disappoints them, you know, they're like, hey, so their grieving is done, is what this is like. So a lot of the grieving, not all, I suppose not all, but a lot of the grieving is done. They're okay, that's in the past. And yet, wait a minute, this is going to take longer. There are more complications, and just that's realistic. Okay. So there we go. I feel like they're mad then. I feel like, you know, because they feel more vocal and they feel more, not everybody. Most people are still really liking him a lot. Most people are saying, well, hey, we know what he was trying to deal with. But some people are pretty vocal about it. So they're on guard. You know, they're on guard. They don't want to be, they've been disappointed so much. You know, they're a little on guard, and they're, you know, they trust him, but, you know, that trust can be shaken up if so many years, many people have felt like, well, I just don't even know what we can do about this income inequality issue, this corruption issue, you know, so that kind of, so he also is coming into a populace that isn't used to being hopeful about politicians, right? Yeah, but they still like him. There we go. Knight of Cups, yes. So they still like him. He still looks good to them. Yeah, that's the Knight of Cups. I better get this down here a little so you guys can see it. So he still looks plenty fine to them. And he's still their knight in shining armor. So just natural growing pains, I think. And then we have the Moon. Yeah, just because it looks a little murky. The Seven of Coins. Yeah, we liked what you've been doing, but now come on, it's not enough. Come on, but so it's a little murky. That's what is the problem, is like that it's easier for people to fear the worst, you know? Okay, or worry, or, you know, think the worst. And we have the Two of Cups here. Yeah, but they've made a pact with him. They're committed to him. Yep, I think so. So there we go. Let me look at this Magician. I want to just make sure. I think that was an interesting read on that card. Yeah, but there's divine protection and strength there for the people too. So this is a good reading, you guys. Oh, I'm glad. Well, thank you, Spirit. And we ask that you're with the politicians, you're with Mexico's president, you're with the people. Thank you. Bye-bye.